Hey guys, how's it going? It's PaleoDraw here, and today we're going to be drawing Godzilla vs. the Mutos from the 2014 Godzilla movie. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, before we get into the video, if this is your first time and you want to learn how to draw epic monsters and dinosaurs and other cool stuff, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and also the bell notification, so that way you don't miss out on anything. Alright, so before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and leave a bit of text, probably somewhere over here, about the people who suggested this. I got some people suggesting all kinds of stuff for the Mutos versus Godzilla, and the Mutos themselves. So I'm going to do Mutos versus Godzilla. I'm going to have Godzilla over here, Mutos over here, or the female Muto over here, and the male Muto flying in the background. So as you can see, I already laid out some of the points for where I'm wanting my kaiju or monsters to be. This right here is going to be the very top of Godzilla's head. This is going to be the beginning of his body, end of his body. His tail is going to swoop down that way. His legs are going to come off here. His legs, his legs and Naruto's legs are going to be off view to kind of give that more cinematic look, almost like it's a camera looking up at them. Alright, and then you're going to have the Fimuto over here. That's the end of the body, that's the top of the head. That's going to be looking up at Godzilla, who's going to be charging up his fire breath, about to, kick some Muto butt. Alright, and then we're going to have the male Muto in the background over here. Basically just going to be a silhouette. We're going to have his head kind of be right here, him just kind of gliding around, about to swoop in and attack Godzilla from behind. So that is the main basis for our drawing. So now we can go ahead and get into sketching it. Alright, so we are going to start by sketching the Muto. We're going to draw the Muto a bit further back, so his head is going to be pointing not as weird as it was earlier. Have the body here, pretty much end there. This should work out better. Alright, so I'm going to draw the head. Have that curve inward. And then we're going to have the big tooth thing. Might want to make that smaller. I'm going to make the head a bit smaller. Actually, maybe just the tooth a bit smaller. Alright, there we go. So something like that would be good. Something like this, then you're going to have kind of like a straight line going back. I'll explain what that's going to be used for in a second. Alright, and then you're going to have the kind of chest area. And that's going to go back. You're going to have the end of the body right here. That's starting to look quite a bit better. And then you got that part right there. It's going to fade into the body. Now it's kind of part of the head and it's kind of not, that spike right there. So we're going to treat it as if it's both. So you don't want to make the head go back and then have the spike somewhere inside the body, because that would not work out. Actually, while I'm drawing this, I need to be using this so I don't smudge everything, which I've already kind of done, but that's okay. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and lay out the line work for the Fimuto's legs, or arms, or whatever you want to call them. Okay, so we got the first ligament that's going to come down here. So yeah, so now we're just going to do it normally now, and everything will look a lot better probably in the end. Okay, so then you got the kind of claw, or single talon right there. You got the other leg on the other side. It's going to kind of be in the same position. Or correction, it will be in the same position. Kind of like this, and then you're going to have the legs that are going to be over here, which are going to be coming much farther out. Since the second ligament on these is much larger, or longer, it kind of would be assumed that that's the one they probably attack most with. Probably because it's not really needed to support the body as much as the front and back ones, if you think about it. Okay, so we're gonna have this kind of going down here, and have the claw kind of half on the ground, half not on the ground. Then the next one, you're gonna have the arm come over here, put that ligament there, and have it come all the way over here, make sure it's not touching Godzilla. Just gonna be kind of reaching out. Like so. Actually, that's not the right anatomy. Okay, so we're gonna have this, have this, and then boom, so something like that. Then we got the back legs here. Trying to focus in. Okay, is that focused? I think that's focused. Okay, then we got the back legs here, which are gonna do a little something like this. And make sure that we have kind of a universal line that we stand by. Might have to change some stuff on Godzilla now that his body isn't gonna be able to end right next to the ground. So yeah, have the leg come down there. You got that kind of elephant-like foot almost. Got the second leg. Yeah, so something like that for the Muto. I think that actually looks really good. It's probably one of my best ones so far, counting my practice ones that I've done. Okay, and then we're going to move on to our King of the Monsters over here. Okay, so now we can go in and start working on Godzilla, who's going to be over here. We're going to try to set the dimensions up where I had to erase the one I previously did, which you guys are probably not going to see because it sucked and I had to probably edit it out. So I'm starting with the new one here. We have, let's see, his legs are going to come up about here. Let's see, have his legs start roughly about there or so. His body can taper off up there. Okay. So I'm just gonna have his body kind of a lot more straight than he usually does. Gonna have him charging up his atomic breath. And I'm gonna do a little bit of colored pencil with the Muto eye and with Godzilla's atomic breath. I mean, not his breath specifically, but his spines. So you're going to have like the chest come out and then divot in. Something like that. I'm going to have that circle around here. Something roughly like that for Godzilla's body. And we're going to have his leg, which it's probably not going to start up there. It's going to start more up here. And that's going to go over this way. So you're not going to have him running or walking. You're just going to be kind of standing there while charging his atomic breath. So we will be able to make the legs and everything look a bit better later on. But for right now, that's actually, I'm going to make this a bit different. I have this going a bit more straight down instead of backward. So So yeah, something a little bit like that. Same thing for this. We're gonna have it go down here. I don't know, that looks a bit off. Alright, we can have this going back a bit more. Then he has some like giant feet that are different than they are in the 2019 movie. I don't know if you guys realize that or not. They changed the design a lot. Obviously the spikes is one of the most noticeable ones from the 2014 to 2019 movie. So yeah, we got the arm here. So we got this part, which I forgot what it's called because I forget things a lot. So I'm not even gonna try to go into the anatomy of this, but so yeah, we got this ligament, second ligament. We have the hand. Going out like this. You're not gonna be able to see the thumb because the thumb is behind everything. We're gonna have the other arm. Kind of a bit more like this, maybe. That looks a bit weird. We don't have it go up very much, but rather the same direction as the other arm from earlier. So roughly like that, kind of. That looks a bit weird right now, but it'll get better. Trust me, it will. Alright, so we got the tail. Then next we are going to have the head, which we are going to place pretty much right there. Okay, so we're gonna have the head start about here, looking down on the Muto. We're gonna have the mouth slightly open. So something like that. So yeah, that's basically Godzilla's head there. Then we're going to go in and draw in his spikes, and that's probably where we're going to see how this all comes together and looks like Godzilla. Because, I mean, without the spikes, he looks like some weird version of Gorosaurus or something like that. I don't know. But with the spikes, that's when you'll be able to easily tell that this is Godzilla. So just do kind of random-ish spikes. Make sure that they're a lot more pointed than the 2019 design for the spikes. I mean, I honestly liked the 2014 spikes a lot, but I do like how they decided to go with more of the original design for the spikes in the 2019 film. So yeah, so just make kind of little sharp and jagged edges. Like so. The 2014 spikes actually remind me a lot of Godzilla 2000, as far as them being a lot more sharp and jagged. So yeah, there's the main row of spikes, and we got some spikes behind those. So yeah, something like that is good for the spikes. I'm going to erase this line here, because we don't need that anymore. Yeah, that's basically it for our kind of rough draft for Godzilla. Now we can move on to the Hawk Muto, which I'm going to zoom in on a little bit here, so that way you guys can see how I'm wanting to do it a little bit more. Hopefully my shadow doesn't get in your way. Let me try to position the light a bit better so there's less shadow. That's good. Okay. So we're gonna have his body start about there, and his head, it's kind of like a diamond shape, something like that. Then you're gonna have his kind of more elephant-like legs, basically these back here, for like what we did for the female Muto. We're gonna have those exact legs for the male Muto. We're gonna have those come back here. We'll have those pretty close to each other, actually. Something like that. Should probably done that a bit longer. Yeah, I'll make those legs a bit longer, just so we can do it kind of more like something like this. For the legs. Alright, so those are the main kind of mammal-like legs that he has. And he's going to have the other more insect-like legs going a bit more behind him. Trying to get this where it's more in view. Alright, and then he's going to have his wings. And he's going to have his first one come out here. And then the other one, which are actually going to see, you'll be able to see most of this one, kind of come out straight this way. Like so. I'm going to make this a bit more like that. Sorry, you guys didn't even see that. I didn't have that on camera. So yeah, we're erasing this leg and we're making this more straight, so it looks like he's gliding. We're going to have the spike on the end. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a bit more just so you guys can see everything more. Alright, there we go. That's a bit better. And we can erase this stuff. So yeah, then we're going to make the wings attach, which will make the spikes a bit smaller. something like this is good, and it kind of attaches to these legs right there. So yeah, that's basically it for our male Muto. That's our base sketch for our Muto versus Godzilla. And now we can go and move on to fine lighting, which I'm going to go and start fine lighting the Fumuto first, going in the same order as we did whenever we were sketching. We're going to start off with the legs, just so we can get the more kind of fleshed in version of the legs in. I'm going to start out with the front legs here. It's pretty simple, just kind of make it very, very, very gradually get thinner as you go down. Then of course you have the claw here. And then you have the other leg, which is gonna come out about there. So yeah, really not that hard. It should be pretty simple. So yeah, something like that is pretty good. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do the middle legs here. We're going to have this come way out here. And of course we got the claw on the end. Like so. And another thing that we can do is erase everything in the middle here, because this leg is going to be overlapping all the other legs. So we can erase everything in the middle. And we got the leg that's coming from the other side here. And that is going to be visible basically just in these areas right here, where you mostly see it, or where the main part of it is, where you realize that the leg is reaching out towards Godzilla. Like so. Alright. And then we can erase some of the lines in here. Actually, I'll go and wait to do that later. Alright, and then we got the back legs here, which we are going to do. Actually, maybe we should make those a bit closer to. Actually, no, I think that's good. Alright. So we'll just continue. The legs are pretty thin, there's not exactly a whole lot of muscle on it. I don't really need to, since they have 6 legs supporting the body. And that's more than enough, so you don't really need all that muscle if you have 6 legs. Then you got the other leg here. Of course, you still want some muscle, like I did right here in the beginning of the tibia. That's pretty much it. So yeah, something like that. Alright, now we can go in and start fine lining the head now. Oh, I take my hat off because my hat is gonna bump the camera. Okay. But she's got little tiny teeth that you can barely see. They're still noticeable on the top and bottom jaw. There, jaw, the head, come back here. Go ahead and stop there. And we got the eye, which is actually very long. So it starts about here, ends roughly about here. Maybe something a bit like that. Probably should make that a little thinner. Something like that is good. And I got the tissue in here. Alright, then we can go ahead and finish off the neck. And then add a bit more detail to this area. Actually, there really isn't a whole lot of detail to add, except mainly for the shading. I'm going to do a few little lines here and there, kind of for effect and wrinkle type stuff. But another thing that's kind of weird is that the Muto, I don't think, has even a nose. I never saw it in any of my birth images. Like I'm doing right now, I'm not seeing them having a nose at all. So that's kind of weird. It makes you kind of think about how they sense smell, or even if they do, if they have a need to or not. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start doing the legs again. We're just gonna go in and fine line all the legs, starting with the ones that is closest to the viewer, which would be the middle legs. So we're just going in and making the lines harder so we know what we want to keep and what we're gonna erase. And we can start with this leg right here. I might go in and speed this process up just so it's pretty self-explanatory. And then now we got the toe, which is quite mammal-like. So like that. Then we have the other leg. With the other toes. Alright, and this whole part with the body right there, we're going to erase that because the body pretty much ends right as the back leg ends. So now we can just hard line or fine line all the rest of everything else. Yeah, turn this a bit sideways. Like so. And fine line the rest of the body here. like that. And then we got the back legs that are toward the front here. Not back legs, but you know, they're in the background on the side that we don't get to see. So we're just gonna fine line those. Alright, so that's pretty much it for the fine lining. We'll get into detail later. So I'm just going to erase all of our unneeded lines. Alright, so now that we've erased all of our unneeded lines, we can go ahead and start working with some of the detail. So for the detail, there really isn't all that much to do. So there are kind of little lines here and there that may or may not end up. I mean, of course, we don't want to make it too detailed because some of the details you can't see if you're really far away. So a lot of it is going to be lines showing kind of wrinkles and all the other detail basically from far away. And it's got some kind of different, almost plate-like structures here. A little bit. I'm just gonna lightly draw those in. We just erase a bit of it as well. Yeah, basically just a bunch of random lines kind of everywhere. And kind of same thing for the legs as well. Except for the back leg here, which we can go in and add in our muscle. At least the very few of it that is there. Other than that, it's just a lot of sketching. We're getting a shading layer, and that's what most of the detail will probably end up coming from. You can add some lines that almost resemble muscles, but aren't, just kind of makes some lines a bit more fine than others. We got the black leg in here. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I have no idea what that was. Oh, it's probably the garbage truck. Never mind. Just try to excuse that noise if you can hear any of it. Alright, I'm going to turn this sideways here. So yeah, just basically a bunch of lines trying to stimulate detail. See, and I'm just going to add some kind of wrinkle lines for the stomach. We got a few muscle lines on the leg here. The muscle lines are going to be a bit different just because it's kind of like it's a weird creature. It doesn't really fit into any sort of animal kingdom. So yeah, just kind of make random lines kind of everywhere, pretty much. Make the toes a bit dark, like so. Of course, you can add a bit more wrinkling down here when it gets to the claws, which I'm going to go ahead and do. There really isn't that much detail that you can add that really makes a lot of sense because it's really smooth. We're going to take a Q-tip and smooth everything out whenever we're done. So like right now, I'm going to take Q-tip and kind of smooth everything out. So yeah, something like that as far as the detail. Then we can get into shading later on. Then we're going to move on to Godzilla. Okay, so we're first going to start off with the head, and I'm just going to start with the bottom jaw. Let me try to position my light to where it's not making as much shadow. There we go, that's better. So we can just start drawing in the bottom jaw here, just going over our sketch that we did earlier. This is also where I'm making some minor changes, like making the top jaw a tiny bit smaller. We've got the neck. We can draw this extra soft tissue right there. Should be the, yeah, so right about there. We got his eye. And of course his nose. We can go ahead and, actually no, we'll wait for his teeth and everything until later. And go ahead and draw in his arms. So you're just going to draw each muscle separately from each other. Actually, I think I might be doing this wrong. I think I ended up doing the wrong arm. Okay. So we got this arm right here, which is going to be this one. And then you're going to have the first claw curve inwards a little bit. And then each claw is going to curve in slightly inwards, with the last claw kind of being a little bit more straight out. And you can draw the thumb a little bit right there if you want to. And then go ahead and draw in the chest. And then the other hand here. Go ahead and draw that. So give me a second to look at this figure that I have. Alright, so we can go ahead and draw his thumb in right there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the other arm, and then we can go on and head on to the legs. Alright, have the main leg. Kind of like this. I'm going to go and use my sketching pencil for the leg part because I've been having a lot of trouble doing that. So something like this. We just want to make sure that it's really, really thick. So I think that's pretty good. I've got this small little piece of bone that goes into the foot right here. Let's go ahead and examine this. This is my brother's figurine that he has. So I'm going to go ahead and be looking at this while trying to draw the toe. So it's got kind of a padding down here that goes all over here. Got the first toe. The second, or much more larger toe. Then the other toe, which is a bit more longer than it is larger. So something like that for the toe. Actually, no, we're going to change that. We're going to change that up just a little bit. Something more like that for his toe. And then let's see here. Make the leg a bit more thick. yeah, I think that's pretty much it. And I got the back leg. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and make this a little bit more hardened. So just going over your sketch lines. Alright, and we can finish up with the rest of the body here. And then we can add the tail. Going like so. Then we got the other leg. I'm just gonna come down here like so. Basically gonna do it the same way. Actually, you know what? No, it's gonna be slightly different. Slightly different. So this is the leg being viewed from the other side. It goes out a little bit. Then you got the really big, almost like thumb toe claw on there. And then it goes out even more to the main toe, and that's pretty much like all you can see just looking at it from a side view. So something kind of like that. Let me erase these lines in here we don't really need. Something like that for the back leg. Just harden some of those lines in a bit more here. Alright, then we can go in and go into the back and spines here. We're going to draw the spines first, just to make the spines a bit more. They're going to be connected, but not completely connected with the back. Of course, you can change some of the designs of the spikes that you have on there as you go. Because your sketch is only there to help aid you. You don't always have to just trace over your sketch. Of course, if a sketch looks really good, that's when you know that you should just basically trace over it. But if you want to make some last minute details to your sketch, that is perfectly fine. You know, just you do you. If you feel like there might be something wrong with it, you can change it. If you feel like there's something wrong with this tutorial and you think I should be doing the spikes one way or another, then you know what? You have full artistic liberty to do that. Or not to really change up my tutorial, but like, you know, make changes to your own drawing. And that's basically one of the reasons why I really like drawing, is that there's so much creative liberty that goes into it. And even paleo art, there's still creative liberty. You know, you just don't have to, just try not to be like really excessive about stuff. I mean, obviously putting lasers on dinosaurs and calling it accurate wouldn't be considered creative liberty, but you know what I'm saying, hopefully. So yeah, those are the spikes. We're just gonna kind of have a bit of the body showing, or the back vertebra showing. And then I'm going to erase all of our unneeded lines. So that's pretty much it, and then we are going to start detailing. So I'm going to start with the head here, adding some stripes, or not stripes, but you know, wrinkles there, wrinkles underneath the eyes. Heading back, got the pupil, got wrinkles on the nose, wrinkles pretty much everywhere on the head. Then you got his teeth, which are quite small, but the size varies a lot. Just trying to make each one of them quite random. So something like that, and you can have the tongue showing just a little bit. Okay. And he's got gills, which we are going, let's see, place the gills right about here, having them get slightly bigger as they go back. Pretty sure he's got four gills. Yeah. Something like that. Yeah, it's kind of like a line going from right there. It's got some small little armor platings right there. So yeah, some stuff like that, and then maybe draw some lines on the underneath of the neck as well. And of course he's got a 6-pack, or more like a 10-pack on his chest. I don't exactly have that many experience drawing 10-packs. So just gonna have to see 1, 2, 3, 4. That other one is gonna be pretty much not visible. So yeah, something like that, and then kind of add little wrinkles in there. Something like that. Don't make it too obvious, or else it'll look too much like a person rather than an animal. So yeah, something kind of like that. And for the arms, there isn't too much for detailing in the arms, kind of just random stripes, or, you know, wrinkle lines. And of course you can have muscle lines for the arm, just don't make them too defined. So yeah, something like that. You can use some wrinkle lines where the arm attaches to the body as well. Use some wrinkles, just kind of harden in the gills here and do some little wrinkle lines on those. Remember, Godzilla's like hundreds of years old, so he's gonna have a few wrinkles. So yeah, so something like that. And as for this part right here, you're just gonna have some more wrinkles going up the body, much like our Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah drawing, kind of just having those same wrinkles, and you can have some scales kind of going that way. And taking a look at the figure, he's got some small little scales on the back here. They're not going to be too noticeable. We're going to kind of circle over everything once we're done. So we can go in and start doing, we're just going to make a lot of lines, especially with this right here. Just gonna kind of add those a little bit down the body, kind of like so. Just kind of make them get less and less visible as you go on. Just kind of add wrinkles pretty much everywhere. And then going and get into the legs, which we're just going to kind of draw different lines going across the legs to help us figure out where we're wanting to put our scales in. And each one of these you're just going to kind of draw some scales. And you draw some vertical lines. And kind of draw more noticeable scales here and there. So something a little bit like this, just kind of making some random scale details every now and then. And then same with the bottom part here. Of course, you kind of have Godzilla's muscles showing a bit right there as well. It's right here. You can kind of make them some little indentions to where you can see where the muscle is. Actually, you know what? That one right there on the tibia looks a bit odd. I think we'll go in and take that out. So we're just going to kind of add some scales here and there. And just add little patches of scales, and I've got the knee here, which you can kind of make some wrinkles for. So with pretty much the rest of the leg as well. You can add some little spike osteoderm things on the leg. And we can erase some of the lines that we did for that. To really get a really scaly type pattern. And then same for this part right here. And then for the toes, you just kind of add those kind of scales, and then do some lines to show the nails, and then do some other little wrinkle lines here and there. For these, you just kind of make them more jagged like so, and you can smooth over them a little bit with the Q-tip, but you don't need to. And for the body, we're just gonna keep on going. He's got some little spike areas here and there. So yeah, and then we're just gonna kind of do some lines right here on the tail. He still has some of that same armor plating that he does in the 2019 movie. Which connects quite a bit with his spikes. Maybe not like that. Let me just erase that. That looks bad. We'll change that up, because I want to make it a bit more spiky. So yeah, something like that. That's a lot better. So yeah, and then just kind of drawing some lines on there to simulate texture. I might go and use my sketching pen for that. So something like that for those, and we can kind of do a bit of lines in here. And of course we got this other leg too, so we want to finish that. Alright, so yeah, just doing the same details that we're doing for this leg on here. So something like that. That's pretty much it for our Godzilla. So now we can move on to our male Muto over here. He really isn't going to have all that much detail. because he's in the background, but we are going to harden out some of his body. So yeah, just going over the sketch lines, adding a bit more flesh in. Actually, let's change that because that's a bit too long. So yeah, some of the most important things in drawing is having a good sketch. So without that, because I mean, a lot of people draw and they won't even make a base sketch themselves. And that's why they'll end up having bad proportions and everything. Of course, my proportions aren't perfect by any means, but it does help a lot. It actually is looking horrible. I need to turn my paper around if I want to make that look any good. We can zoom in, I guess that won't hurt. Just hold on while I work on doing that. Alright, there we go. That looks a lot better. Alright, we got the lines connecting the wings to the actual body. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And we can go in and erase all of our unneeded lines. Okay, so that's really all the detail that we're going to do for our Muto. We might actually go in and add a little bit of lines over here on the wings. That's really pretty much it, and we're going to make a more silhouetted type effect for him. Just kind of shading in a lot of it. So yeah, something like that, and you can go over that with the Q-tip. Careful not to make it mess up any of your lines. So yeah, something like that. That's really all you need for the male Muto. Zoom out here. And now we're going to do some coloring. So our first one is the red, which we are going to use for the Muto. So we're just gonna go in the eye here. Just a bit lighter in the middle. Hopefully you guys could see that. So yeah, something like that. Make it look like there's light coming in from there. And we're going to do blue on Godzilla's spines. Yeah, so we're just gonna kind of go in here and do some blue outlining. In the spines here. Doesn't have to be really that noticeable, just a bit of color to add a bit more stuff, a bit more excitement into it. So yeah, something like that. Then we're going to go back with a bit of a darker pencil and just add some small highlights here. More toward the bottom than anything. Something like that, and we got our fine line pencil, and we're just going to kind of go over it in lines, adding some texture to the spines. I actually need to erase this part right here. I don't even know if you guys can see that, but there's a part in there that was really bugging me that didn't need to be there. So that's it for the main drawing part. Now we just have shading, and then that'll be it. So let's go ahead and get the shading. So let me get my 4B pencil. I'm gonna just start shading in, first starting with the Fumuto, just kind of adding in some darker areas, the parts that are not going to be hit by sunlight. So something like that. And then for the legs, you're going to have some shading coming in from this side, like so. And then same with the back legs here. If it seems like I'm pausing a lot, it's because I'm looking at the camera to make sure that everything's in view, because I've had a lot of problems with that in videos before. So it's essentially the shading for the Fumuto on that. We're just gonna glaze over it with our Q-tip, or cotton swab, I guess is the more scientific term for it. Just brush over it with our cotton swab. Alright, so yeah, so that's our Fumuto shading. So the main thing that we want to do is we're just gonna do the normal shading that we're all used to. Getting the belly here, and then same thing, we're gonna have this part of the arms shaded in, as well as the back part there. We're gonna have this part shaded as well. And we'll be able to smooth this all out later with the cotton swab, so you don't need to make a whole bunch of minute details right now. Then with the back foot, we're gonna do the same thing. I'll make it have a little bit of lighter shade all around. And of course we got the tail here. Another thing that you can do, just kind of add some, a little bit like there, you can add some wrinkles right in there. Alright, so that's our main detail. And another thing, we're just going to go over here and kind of shade in these armor plates. Make it a bit lighter as they go up, because they're going to reflect sunlight, because it's more bony material than anything else that you see on here. Same thing with these. Just kind of make the shading go into it and then fade as you go up. So like that. You just kind of fade over anything that you would like to, and I may not fade over a whole lot of this. A lot of it doesn't really necessarily need fading, because that's another thing that you got to decide for yourself too, is what needs fading and what doesn't. Personally, I think that looks quite alright. I'm going to do some shading. It's coming in from this way, so we're going to have, that's not what the light is coming in from, that way. So we're going to have the shading on the left side. Just a bit of shading, not too much. Just enough to make it noticeable. So yeah, basically like that. Then all we have left to do is to shade in the shadow, the actual shadow of the two monsters here. I'm just going to kind of lay a base shadow, which we can change later, and then we're going to darken in some areas where there would be more shadow, like so. And yeah, let me get everything into here. So yeah, that is actually it for our, oh, whoops, I just got a lot darker. There we go. Okay, so that is it for our Godzilla vs. the Mutos tutorial. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, make sure that you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss out on any new drawing videos and speed drawings. And yeah, so I hope that your day is going well, and hope that it goes well from now on. And that is it. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Keep your pencil sharp, everybody.